Oxford Dictionary defines disappointment as sadness that is caused by non-fulfillment of one's hopes or expectations. Disappointments come in all shapes and sizes. We face them pretty much in every area of our lives, pretty much every single day also. Whether it's relationships, workplace scenarios, family, health, finances, you name it, we face it. And most times these situations start out looking really hopeful. But then again, often without warning, they come crashing down, leaving us feeling dejected. You know, the temporary disappointment over a distasteful cup of coffee, a bad cup of coffee, can be so much more different than the deep disappointment of maybe a miscarriage. Ask someone who just went through a miscarriage, they'll tell you how it feels. You know, when what we expect and the experience of our reality, when they don't match, the feeling can be of a letdown. And the sting of disappointment, it can last just a little moment, or it could be a lingering feeling that shadows us every single day of our life, affecting our thoughts, our actions, and our emotions. Every person that ever walked on this face of the earth, at one point or the other, has faced disappointment. And one person comes to my mind who met with disappointment and discouragement on a regular basis repeatedly, and that is King David. You know, David is often remembered to be a good shepherd, the courageous young man who slew the giant Goliath. He's remembered to be the greatest king of Israel and a man after God's own heart. Great list of accomplishments, isn't it? But along that list of amazing accomplishments is a dim side to his greatness. King David's life is marked with copious, generous amounts of disappointments and discouragements in every single turn of his life. First, he faced disappointment from his own brothers. I don't know if you remember when David's dad sent him to the battlefield to give them some food when they were fighting Goliath. They talked to him so angrily, in a very demeaning and discouraging way. His older brother actually says to him, "You spoiled brat. David, I know how conceited you are, how wicked your heart is. You came down to the battlefield to watch the battle, not to really give us food. You just found an excuse." Think about saying that to someone who brought you a nice meal. How would they feel? Then after the courageous killing of Goliath, do you know how Saul treated him? Instead of rewarding him for the victory that he won for the people of Israel, instead of rewarding him for the courageous act, Saul's jealousy turned into a javelin that never left him, that chased him for many, many years. You know, David met with disappointment from his friends, his family members, his inner circle of friends, his trusted confidants. And then there were people like Nabal, people like Shimei, who benefited from David's generosity, who profited from David's kindness. But when David needed help, when David needed maybe some food, some comfort, they belittle him, mock him, ridicule him, and plain flat out refuse to help him in any way. And then there are a bunch of his own sons, Amnon, Absalom, Abijah, who hurt him so deeply, who rebelled against him, who even plotted to take him down. And each of those sons, of course, has their own separate story. Talk about being a disappointed parent. You know, David faced innumerable disappointments, no doubt about it. And I'm sure he was disappointed in himself also through the life journey a handful of times. Remember the episode with Bathsheba? He was so disappointed in what he did. And then there is this unnecessary census, unnecessary counting of the fighting men of Israel. Joab tells him not to do it, but he goes ahead and does it and faces the consequences. These are some scenarios that David was disappointed in himself. And what I mean to tell you is David earned the badge to teach us a thing or two about disappointment. David experientially can tell us how to deal with disappointment. I want to talk to you about one particular story in David's life that never ceases to encourage me, that never ceases to amaze me. During the relentless pursuit of Saul, David escapes to the land of the Philistines and lives in a place called Ziklag. But on a certain day, when David and his warrior men are not in town, when they're away, the Amalekites come and raid Ziklag. They burn the city to the ground. They carry off their wives and children, all of them, leaving just a burned down city. When David and his men return, they found the place to be utterly destroyed and their families are taken captive. I want to read from you 1 Samuel 30th chapter verse 4. Then David and the people who were with him lifted their voices and wept until there was no strength in them to weep. You know, these are strong, mighty men. These are gladiators who are ready for battle, but here they are weeping and wailing like little children, weeping until there is no strength left in them to weep. You know, David here is distressed, he's devastated. And to add to that, his friends are plotting to kill him. They're plotting to stone him to death. His own inner circle, his confidants. Why? Because they are bitter. They feel that they are robbed. They feel enraged. You know, they are trying to deal with their own disappointment by blaming David. They think it is David's fault that their wives and families are taken. You know, these warriors, instead of planning a rescue for their families, they're looking for someone to blame. You know, sometimes when we face a disappointment, we look for a scapegoat rather than a solution. But I love how David reacts in this situation. In verse 6, it says, "Moreover, David was greatly distressed because the people spoke of stoning him. For all the people were embittered, each one because of his own sons and his daughters. But David strengthened himself in the Lord." David found strength in the Lord. What a contrast, what a distinction. David found strength in the Lord his God. In the midst of seismic disappointments, heavy disappointments, their earth-shattering disappointments, he found strength in the Lord. You know, David faced giant-sized problems. He was pursued with an intent to kill. He was mocked, insulted. He was betrayed. He was humiliated and deceived so many times. But he stayed encouraged. How? He went to the source. He didn't look for a scapegoat to blame. He went to the source. He went to the Lord. And if we read psalm after psalm that David wrote, we can see him pouring out his heart to the Lord. The kind of pouring out that is very unusual. The kind of pouring out that is so raw and unfiltered. So, such a raw expression of what he was going through deep down within. You know, prayer is a communication with God, and he welcomes our honest expression. There is no need to feel shame for how we feel, whether it's anger, sadness, disappointment, doubt, discouragement. God welcomes our honest expression. And the most remarkable feature about Psalms is its unedited honesty. And that's why we feel so connected to it, don't we? The words in Psalms communicate our own feelings, our own aches. But on the other hand, we also see how David gained strength from the Lord and comfort from the Lord. As he was pouring out his heart, God was pouring in his strength. You know, there is no need to give watered down version of how we feel. There's no need to give God that kind of version when we feel disappointed. He knows, he sees, he cares. You can give him the raw, unfiltered, honest expression of how you feel. Take it to him in prayer. His strength will be made perfect in your weakness. I love this hymn that's written long time ago, 1850s hymn. A part of it goes this way. Have we trials and temptations? Is there trouble anywhere? We should never be discouraged. Take it to the Lord in prayer. Can we find a friend so faithful who will all our sorrow share? Jesus, he knows our every weakness. Take it to the Lord in prayer. You know, God, he is ever willing and welcoming to our honest and unfiltered expression. There's nothing to hide from him. He knows everything. He knows everything. There's no shame in taking our honest confessions, honest expressions, every disappointment, every discouragement. You can share it with Him, and He is the source of healing. He is the source to take all your wounds, bind them, and heal them. I hope this is an encouragement for you. I will see you in the next video.
Savior, still I rest.